I got you.
All right, creatures of the night, welcome to episode 170 of Talking Taker, our encyclopedic exploration digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. My name is Alex Dorio. I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. And I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my brother of destruction. He's got the whole world in his hands, Mr. Travis Wyatt. Travis, tonight we are talking Survivor Series 2015, the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker, as he joins up with Kane to face off against the Wyatt family. And we know the Wyatt family has they have brought the heat against Undertaker in the past, but they're gonna amp it up to another level here tonight, man. They're gonna bring in ISIS to go up against the Undertaker tonight. This is controversial, man. I don't know how you feel about this.
I mean, you thought Muhammad Hassan was controversial,
right?
You just wait till we get to tonight's
Goodness.
today's episode. Yeah. Oh man, goodness. Yeah, there's some story to be had there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and I had honestly forgotten until you mentioned it last week on the episode. I had to go back. I was like, oh yeah, how did I miss that? Yeah, I forgot about that. So maybe I just blocked it out because it was what it was. But we'll get there. So yeah, the Wyatt family, he's got his family back together and he's expanding to ISIS as well. So reaching for the big guns. So, whoops, no pun intended.
He does have the family all back together here tonight. We're going to bring it all to you on our encyclopedic exploration. You know the gimmick by now. This is episode 170. We're going match by match through The Undertaker's career. And it's pretty perfect timing here as we are in the middle of the Undertaker 30 celebration. 30 days of the dead man, 3 decades of destruction and domination. We're going to see The Undertaker celebrated at Survivor Series 2020, just about a week from now for his 30th anniversary. Just one of those things. We've had it happen a few times in the course of this show where the timing just works out perfectly. We're not even planning it, but here we are. We get to look back at Undertaker 25 here right around the same time. We thought, man, that was good enough right there. Had no idea he was going to get up to 30 in the year 2020, but pretty wild that he's here. And this match here is a great celebration of the Undertaker character. Somebody, you know, it's the greatest character of all time. Is what we call him every week. So we're gonna look at that. Look at this rivalry here as we take our time traveling hearse back to October of 2015. You know, we left off with the Undertaker losing to Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell and getting carried out of the arena by the Wyatts, who attacked the Undertaker, carry him out crucifix style to do what with him? Well, we never quite find out, but we'll get into that here, Travis. So why don't you take us back to Raw on October 26, 2015.
Yeah, so this is the night after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So we open up with a recap from last night. Again, that was the main event. So we're going to start the show off here with a recap. And commentary really putting over the brutality of the match. But they do mention the fact, like you talked about last week, that Lesnar had to use that low blow to get the victory there. But then we see the Wyatt's destruction of Taker. And then JBL has a quote here. He says that they desecrated the very legend that has given them their living. What a pathetic, pathetic sight. So he's all on the Taker train, baby. All on it. But get another highlight later on in the night again, just really hyping up that match. And then we come back from that and we see Bray Wyatt sitting in a rocking chair in the middle of the ring. And he says that for 25 years, The Undertaker has walked among the darkness and the light. He had no equal. They all feared him. Grown men would tremble at just the sound of his name. But last night, the apocalypse showed its face. Destruction, desolation, vengeance, and fear rode in, and with him they carried out the soul of the mighty Undertaker. So I guess he just named the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse or something, and him and his family. So, although it's not, I don't think those are the actual four horsemen from the Bible, but I think that's what he's going with. Those are the four names of them. So
interesting.
But he says, "Can you feel it? Can you feel that? That wicked, wicked, horrible feeling is in the air tonight." And he's got this crazy voice. I don't even know how I'm talking like Kofi Kingston. But anyway, I love his voice. But he says, last night was a war. And he says he wants to make it apparent tonight that one day he and Roman will dance again after he's revitalized. Because, again, he lost to Roman Reigns the night before.
That's right.
So, again, remember that. He lost to Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think he lost to Ryback again, like at Extreme Rules or something. He lost to Roman Reigns here, and he's going to go feud with Undertaker again. And I say again, although they never mentioned that. But we know what happened. But he said he's got to revitalize himself. So Taker's destruction last night has become his resurrection. Which is funny because when Taker came back at Battleground, I think it was, he talked about how Brock was going to be his resurrection. They completely failed to mention his match with Bray. So we're just really sweeping that under the rug here.
Time is a flat circle, my friend.
Yeah. That's something what Bray would say.
Yeah, but, exactly.
Yeah. So he says once you've got a taste of the Undertaker's kind of power, it consumes you and he wants more.
Right now, somewhere, the Undertaker's soul is being ripped to shreds, desecrated, piece by piece and bit by bloody bit. And so tonight I wanted to ask something of you. I would like to ask everyone in this entire arena to bow their heads. I wanted to ask everyone that is watching at home to place their hand on their television set. And tonight, I want you to share a moment of silence with me for the man who has lost his soul to me.
Bray starts laughing. He says, right now, somewhere, Taker's soul is being desecrated and being ripped to pieces bit by bit. So he wants every one of us at home and in the arena to bow their heads, place our hands on our TV set if we're at home, and he wants them to share a moment of silence for the man who lost his soul. He takes his hat off, bows his head, and says, "Rest in peace, Phenom." And he starts laughing, and then, boom! Kane's pyro interrupts. Music hits. He comes out. Bray's smiling. Again, I do love his maniacal character. He's not intimidated by this stuff. He just laughs at it. So Kane gets in the ring, and then we see the little Wyatt, and then everything goes black. I guess that's how you do it. Yeah, exactly. And mine was more of a puke. He's gonna puke. Yeah. Lights come back up, and of course Harper, Rowan, and Braun are on the apron. Kane immediately dispatches Harper and Rowan. Just one punch, two punch. They're gone. Braun enters the ring, and they kind of size each other up. And again, this Braun has just recently been introduced. They're really putting him kind of in the spotlight here as a new monster on the scene. They start slugging away. Kane tosses Harper out. Again, he comes in and then sends Braun over the top rope to the outside. And Bray and Kane wind up coming face to face, and Kane goozles him, but Harper and Rowan, the future Bludgeon Brothers, come to rescue him. But he double goozles him. Braun saves them. Harper and Rowan then hit a double choke slam on Kane, so still his own move. And then they swarm him, start laying the boots to him. We get an Undertaker chants from the crowd, thinking he's going to come back from the abyss he was taken to last night. But then the Wyatt family do the same thing they did at Hell in a Cell, and they just walk him out in the crucifix position, just like they did here. And we come back from a commercial, and we see the Wyatt family dragging Kane through the back hallway. It's like a smoke-filled hallway, and as they're doing that, Bray's like, "He's got the whole world in his hands," and that's it. They just drag him into
well,
yeah, I don't know where they go.
You'd think they were dragging him to the the Wyatt compound or something,
Right.
dragging him into hell, dragging him into the abyss. But I guess they just leave him there. They drag him out of the arena and be like, "All right, see you later." Which we'll get into that because it's never quite fully explained here.
They don't even show him like dumping him in a manhole. Remember Paul Bear back in the day? Yeah, dumped in the manhole.
One of my favorite episodes of Raw. Well, now we know that Kane is involved in this rivalry. We have a real family feud on our hands with the Brothers of Destruction and the Wyatt family.
Didn't he lose at Hell in a Cell as well? He lost to Seth, right?
Kane?
Yeah. So he...
If you say so.
I believe so, because weren't we saying that they were both in the main storylines going into...
Right, yes.
That pay-per-view,
right,
just like they were 12 years ago or whatever. So the Brothers of Destruction both lost at Hell in a Cell. And then they're both going to get teamed together against the Wyatts to get that win back.
That's right. Well, I was going to say, they should have just done a Family Feud episode with the Wyatt family and then the Brothers of Destruction instead of doing this tag team match, man.
Steve Harvey.
Yep. I mean, you can't have Paul Bear in there. He's passed, but maybe you could bring back, Midian, some other Ministry of Darkness people. Gangrel, sure. Big Daddy V. I don't know if he'd passed at this point or not.
I don't know yet.
I can't remember.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Shamrock.
How great would that have been? Sure. Why not?
Stephanie, his wife. Dude, that would have been gold.
We can only dream. But instead, we'll move on to SmackDown. We're back on SmackDown here, folks. I haven't done this in a while, but there's some content on all the episodes of SmackDown heading into the Survivor Series pay-per-view involving these folks.
And SmackDown back on Thursdays now.
Back on Thursdays, October 29th, 2015. Bray Wyatt's going to open up the show backstage, and he's cradling The Undertaker's signature hat. Not the Turco hat, the foam hat, and not the hat that you got me last week that at the end of the show that I am wearing, the 30-year anniversary hat. Fits like a
Looks
dream.
Good.
I love it. I wore it all weekend, man. I'm wearing it tonight.
Perfect.
No, we're talking The Undertaker's signature hat that he wears down to the ring. And Bray says that the spirits that used to belong to the Brothers of Destruction now belong to him. He owns the souls of The Undertaker and Kane. And he tosses Undertaker's hat aside. And he's going to offer a challenge tonight to celebrate these fallen sons on the Day of the Dead. And he's going to have 3 brave souls that are willing to challenge his monsters, Harper, Rowan, and Strowman tonight. And then, unfortunately, those 3 guys get to talk, and it's not pretty. Eric Rowan says he was never allowed to dress up for Halloween. It was too sinful. And Luke Harper says, these are not costumes. Evil is very real. And Bray Wyatt says, for the 3 souls courageous enough to step up, he offers his condolences. And he pulls Kane's mask out of his pocket and says, to the rest of you, and Braun Strowman pulls his sheep mask off and says, your annihilation awaits. Run. Yeah, man. I was thinking as I was watching all this stuff, getting ready for tonight's episode, that I like the idea of the Wyatt family more than I ever liked it in practice. I like Bray Wyatt as a character and as a performer, and Luke Harper's really good. Can't say the same thing about Rowan and Strowman, but man, their delivery and the way these lines are scripted, it's so goofy. And I know some of the Undertaker and Kane stuff has been goofy too, but they pull it off so much better than the Wyatts do. And I love the concept of the Wyatt family. I love their look. I want to be into it, but for some reason, throughout the whole Wyatt family run, I just don't think it ever fully connected.
I was super into it, except for when they added. Well, I can't stand Rowan, but that was what it was. He was already part of it. But I love Harper. Love Bray, but then Strowman, it put it over. I wasn't impressed with him because he'd only had about 4 matches before he made it here. I get it. He's a specimen. He is what he is. And the only way you're going to get better is by being with people that do know what they're talking about. Like Bray, even though he's so young, but then being there with Taker and stuff. Like, I get it, but I didn't have any respect for the fact he hadn't paid any dues at all. And he couldn't talk. He sucked. I mean, he sucked at talking. I mean, I think Rowan sucks at talking too. I think Harper's good, and he was good. But when he's giving crap like this, you're right. It comes off as phony. But when they were in NXT doing their thing, Triple H just took the gloves off and said, do whatever the heck you feel like. And, like, they were phenomenal. You know, I loved that stuff. So, but, yeah, I get it. I mean, they never really were allowed to reach their full potential because they kept getting the rug pulled out from under them.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
just
problem.
said that. Yeah. It's one of those things where the WWE thinks, okay, it's this character. It doesn't matter whether they win or lose. We can do whatever we want with them. But it does matter. It matters, to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
If this guy never wins the big one, if Bray Wyatt never does and Braun Strowman never does, then you're not going to take him seriously no matter how cool they are or how great of a promo they cut.
Right.
They got to do something to back up all this crap that they're talking. But anyway, we'll move on. Dean Ambrose is going to be the one who's going to lead the team and lead the charge against the Wyatts tonight. And he's talking to his future wife. I believe they were already dating at this point, Renee Young. So a little flirtation there, and he says, hell yeah, I'm going to accept Bray Wyatt's challenge tonight. And he's just, he's having a blast. He's so fun to watch on promos when he doesn't have a gas mask on.
Mustard card or whatever. Hot dog card.
He says he may go down tonight against the Wyatts, but the real question is how many of them Wyatt boys is he going to take down with him? I mean, he's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then they get interrupted by Boo Dallas, who shows up with a white sheet over his body.
I love it, man. I love it because they've just completely given up on any seriousness of the Bo Leaf thing. And he's just a straight comedy character. I mean, he has no potential for stardom at all. He's just there to make people laugh. I love Boo Dallas. It was great. I love what happens later on with him. Mark Henry is great, too.
Well, maybe if he'd stayed Boo Dallas, he might be more over. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Later on, Dean Ambrose finds another partner in Cesaro, and they're keeping the Halloween theme. And Ambrose asks Cesaro if he's dressed up as Lex Luthor or the Transporter, Jason Statham, and Cesaro's like, "No, it's just how I dress." He's in his suit backstage.
Yeah.
And then this was crazy. Cesaro predicts the future and asks if Dean Ambrose is dressed for the Thunderdome tonight. Of course, he's talking about Mad Max Thunderdome, not the WWE Thunderdome.
Right.
But then Cesaro accepts the partnership, and they don't shake hands. They don't do a fist bump. They do a little COVID times elbow bump, which I thought was weird. It's like, oh, man, this segment's for the future. We're talking about Thunderdome. They're doing an elbow bump instead of the handshake. This was really weird.
Oh, man, I hate that wrestling elbow bump. I hate it. Every tag team does it nowadays. It drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Oh, but yeah, back then it was kind of novel. But yeah, every one of them does it nowadays. It drives me nuts. But yeah. But you're right, man. Cesaro, a man of the future. So maybe he was the Terminator. Something.
Could be.
Swiss Terminator. Is that ever his nickname? Swiss Cyborg, I guess.
Swiss Cyborg, yeah. Later on, Dean finds another partner in the Ryback. The Ryback wants revenge against the Wyatt family. And then, as you mentioned, there's a segment parodying a classic viral video where Boo Dallas pops out of a trash can to scare Mark Henry, and Mark Henry just punches him instead of screaming at him. So
eat me more of that, dude. But the funny thing is that so in real life, like I listen to Busted Open a lot, and Mark Henry is deathly afraid of stuff. Like, he won't watch any kind of scary movie, any kind of scary TV show. He says like when he watches stuff, like Halloween freaks him out. Like he'll leave the lights on and stuff. He's like a legit scared of stuff. So like, to me, that was why this was extra funny, because I know that, and like in hindsight, like listening to him talk and stuff, like to me it was just funny because like he probably was honestly maybe been even a little scared a little bit. I mean, I doubt it, but like he was saying, like he was the perfect guy. Just knowing what I know about him now, it was funny to see him in that role. So
you tell me he is actually afraid of caskets?
Probably.
He's the one guy.
So.
Yeah.
But he may actually be. So, but yeah, they give him a hard time about being afraid of like everything. He won't watch any scary movie or anything. He'll watch stuff with lights on and like Walking Dead and stuff. He's just terrified of it. So.
Well, we have honestly spent way too much time talking about this episode of SmackDown, so I'll just go on and say that the Wyatt family wins the 6-man tag, Face the Fear challenge in the main event. Cesaro is incredible coming in off the hot tag. He is one of the best ever doing that, but he ends up getting pinned by Luke Harper after that big discus clothesline. So the Wyatt family does get a little momentum to keep this feud rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to lead us to next week's Raw. So Raw, November 2nd, 2015. So after recaps from last week, we see the Wyatt family making their way to the ring. Bray says, every night's a special night, but tonight I want to give everyone something that you're never going to forget. We've all witnessed us taking out the rotting carcass of the Undertaker, so apparently he's dead. And then it says, we've all witnessed him carrying out the scorched body of Kane. So he says the body is just the body is temporary and eventually it's useless, but the soul, man, lives forever. So unless that soul is consumed by a higher power. So Bray has become that higher power. So it was me all along, I guess. It's like, what if they brought it back to that, dude? That'd been insane. Yeah. What if Bray's the head of the Wyatt? I mean, not Bray. Vince is the head of the Wyatt family. That'd be funny. But anyway. So Bray tells us that the Wyatt family has successfully harvested the souls of the Brothers of Destruction. So I'm imagining at this point that they drugged him when they drugged him backstage, they took him to like Mama Sangre's or whatever and had her extract their souls.
Did an exorcism.
The bones of a tree-legged dog or
whatever
it was that she had.
Bring it all in. Yeah, tie it all in together.
So, but he says he's got the power flowing through the veins now. But no, he doesn't say it like Ultimate Warrior, but he does. He's got the power. So he says
that power has become me, man, and it feels good, man. It feels really, really good. That power has become unconceivable, and it all belongs to me. For now, I summon the thunder. And now I summon the lightning. I summon the forces of darkness, for I am Bray Wyatt, the eater of worlds.
So he says, now I summon the thunder. So we hear the thunder in the arena. I summon the lightning, and the lightning strikes the 4 ring posts. And he says, I'm the eater of worlds, and it is within me to summon the forces of evil and to scorch this earth. And then he does the Shakespeare pose, and lightning strikes the entrance ramp, and a bunch of fireworks go off. Not flames. Straight up July 4th, like fireworks go off. So that was my
like
problem.
The Raw opening pyro.
I was like, why not have the Taker's flame, like his big bellowing flames? Like that would have been better. But like, it's like just straight up pyro. But I get what they're going for. He's got the power in him now, so it's cool,
Oh, dude, I want more of this. This is the feud that I want. Like, give me a year. Bray Wyatt steals Undertaker's soul and power. He does all the things Undertaker does. He sits up. He rolls his eyes back in the head. Yes, he shoots flames. He turns the lights off. He appears. He disappears. He raises up to the heavens like like he did at Royal Rumble '94. I don't know. All your Undertaker stuff. Do that for a year where he becomes the new Undertaker. And finally, Undertaker returns to reclaim his power. Like they teased it a little bit at WrestleMania, and then they teased it a little bit here. But it's like I just feel like there's so much potential.
Get 4 weeks.
Just go all in with it, man. Give him pass the torch that way, and you can still have Undertaker come back and get the win back. But do something where you really mean something.
Yep. Instead, they're just cramming in the 4 weeks of TV here just to get to SummerSlam. That's my problem with this whole build. It's fun, but there's so much more potential to be had, man. I love it. But there's a really cool video here. They get a highlight video of Taker and Kane, and then them, just kind of their past, and them as the brothers of destruction, and just see, through the years, and then it kind of fades out. It kind of like swirls and fades out, and we return to Wyatt just laughing in the ring, and he screams out, "Follow the buzzards!" So that's his thing. And I got to mention here, dude, a flubby dub. Okay.
So, I haven't had a flubby dub in a while. Michael Cole flubby dub.
Michael Cole flubby dub. This is insane, and I rewound it like 18 times. He after the follow the buzzards thing, he says that coming up next, we're gonna have Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Paige, and Brie Bella. They're gonna meet in a fatal 4-way match.
It'll be one of these 4 divas. They meet in a fatal 4-way match later on tonight.
No, what are the rules of the fatal 4-way, Travis?
Well, I guess Brie won. She had the baby first. She's had 2 babies actually. Becky's pregnant with 1. So
that's what that's what they were competing for.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he says fatal 4-way. So I don't know, man. I encourage you guys, watch that episode of Raw and check that out.
Freudian slip there from Michael Cole. Very odd. Thanks for catching that, Travis.
No problem.
Next, we go to SmackDown again on November 5th, 2015. And as you guys can imagine, these SmackDown episodes are just going to be are used to build up the Wyatt family, because Undertaker and Kane are not working Thursday nights. And on this episode, we're getting a Survivor Series preview. The Wyatt family is going to take on the Primetime Players and the Lucha Dragons in a traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Oh, you don't think that's getting ratings on Thursday night there, man? Now, I had never seen this match until I watched it back for this research for this podcast. But as soon as they announced it, and as soon as they said it was an elimination match, I went ahead and typed that the Wyatts are going to eliminate all 4 guys without anyone from their team being eliminated. And guess what? I didn't have to retype anything, because that's exactly what happened, which is what should happen. No, you're building up the Wyatts to face Undertaker and Kane. They don't need to lose to Titus O'Neil. And they don't. They beat them all very, very easily. Everybody gets their finishers in. Sin Cara gets to shine for a few minutes, which is fun to see. But they all get defeated here. And again, do something more with this. Have them put all these guys in caskets when they pin them. Have them wrap Sin Cara in a body bag or something. Set Kalisto on fire like he's like you're Kane. Like, I don't know. Do something else, man. It's just
put him on the symbolize him.
It's so sure. Have a Bray Wyatt symbol or something. Yeah. I don't know,
big
dude.
Old scarecrow or something. Yeah,
right. It's just so much more they could do with this. Again, I love the idea of it, but the execution is just severely lacking.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It reminds me of, remember with the writer's strike in 2007 or 8, when all those shows just had to cram out the rest of their TV shows, just whack them out, and you got so much story just crushed into well, I remember I think there's a 3rd season of Heroes. They just blew through a year's worth of storylines in 3 episodes. That's what it's like here, man. It's you got all this story, but the thing is, there's no writer's strike in WWE. They make their own stuff. They just do their own thing, but they just cram it all in there for no reason other than the fact that we got to get to this pay-per-view. It's dude, I don't know, man. It's so disappointing because there's so much more meat on the bone, like we say.
Right. Imagine if at WrestleMania 15 Bray Wyatt had won, which we debated whether or not that should have happened. But imagine if he wins there, and maybe you lose out on all the Brock Lesnar stuff, but maybe you don't. Maybe even Undertaker does some of the Brock Lesnar stuff, but the whole time Bray Wyatt is off pretending to have the Undertaker's powers or something. Or imagine if Undertaker was trying to actually get revenge for losing to Bray Wyatt. He hadn't already beaten him in the past. It's just, there's no long-term planning in any of this.
No.
They just were like, oh, it's Undertaker's 25th anniversary. Let's have him have a match. Let's redo the Bray Wyatt thing. again.
Yep.
It's just nothing. It's a cool idea, not well thought out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's going to bring us to Raw the next week. This is January. This is November 9th, 2015. So this was a. Is this the night we're in the UK?
Yep.
How could you tell?
Just like the accents on some of the fans in the crowd, and then the two giant Union Jacks hanging from the ceiling.
Was there ever a tag team called Union Jack? That'd have been great. Why did they not have that?
Well, you have the Union, your favorite faction of all time.
Exactly. What? They could have just had the Union Jacks and been like, I don't know, Jack London and Jack Liverpool or something. I mean, great, man. The Union
Jack London and Jack Liverpool.
Jack London and Call the Wild. It'd be his finishing move. It'd be awesome. Why not?
Jack Liverpool sounds like a 1992 Superstars jobber.
I'm fine with that.
Beer gut and a mullet.
Yeah, I need them to be jobbers. They need to be like that's tag team Everrise and NXT. Just come out every week and lose, man. This is great.
Jack
I love
Liverpool. He's waving to the wrong camera when they call his name.
This just got a unitard on. Like,
yes, pink and purple. Yeah.
Man, if I had a SmackDown game, I'd be making him tonight. Great wrestler. Anyway, all right, Raw from across the pond. This was immediately after Seth Rollins' knee injury, so he. Strangely enough, I guess we haven't seen Kane on TV since he got crucified by the Wyatts and taken backstage and dropped off in a ditch or whatever. But he was able to show up on a house show and wrestle Seth Rollins.
Come on, man! He's supposed to be kidnapped.
Yeah. But he has the power of Kane, and he makes Seth blow his knee out. So. Anyway,
normally, whatever, they do that stuff like that all the time, but it bites them in the butt here because they have to acknowledge it because of Seth Rollins' injury, so they have to show Kane on there and tell you all that stuff he did with the Wyatt family didn't matter because he's still able to wrestle at house shows.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, the Wyatt family comes out, Bray comes out for the #Wyatt eulogy. So if on November 9th, 2015, if you're listening right now and you tweeted and wrote #Wyatt eulogy, we want you to go back, snapshot it, and show us, or screenshot it and show us what you wrote. I would love to know on that night. But anyway, the Manchester Fireflies are all out tonight. We see Bray coming out, and he's showing off his newfound powers from last week. We see the recap. And it's in a funny, in my notes, I wrote that he was bringing the lightning and the thunder better than Imagine Dragons because they have that song called Thunder, and then my oldest son loves that song. But and then as fate would have it, apparently Imagine Dragons is the theme song to Survivor Series. I had no idea. Like as I wrote that, and then like later on in this episode, I find out they're like, "Oh, thank you to Imagine Dragons for bringing us the theme song for Survivor Series." I was like, "Wow." What a strange bit of like serendipity. Man. That was nuts.
Your favorite band?
Not at all. But lightning and the thunder. So yeah, it was fun. But anyway, Bray's again. He's out here alone. Manchester is singing. He's got the whole world in his hands. Because again, these UK fans, they're crazy and zany, and they only get WWE twice a year, and they're loving it, man.
Oh yeah.
He says change is the inevitable part of life. And how you deal with change, it tells you who you truly are. So tonight we're going to celebrate change and the spirits of Kane and the Undertaker. So he says, they've been the benchmark of power for over 2 decades here. They controlled the light and the darkness and reigned supreme. I want everybody in the building to bow their heads and pay respects to these icons. And the crowd starts chanting Undertaker, and then Bray calls everybody in the arena fools, calls all the fans at home fools, says he's no longer going to pay respect to them. There was no passing of the torch. Well, wink, wink, there really wasn't. But he says, I took that torch and I used it to burn Kane and burn Undertaker straight into ashes. My body grows stronger as theirs rot. Their power is pulsing through my veins, and I control the lightning and the thunder now. There's no more time for salvation. All of this will be over soon. The apocalypse is here. And then he drops down on his knees to say, follow the buzzer. But as he gets out the word follow, we see that video from last week. It kind of unwinds the other way, and we see it play. And Bray kind of has this puzzled look on his face, and he's looking at the video, and then all of a sudden the video ends with Taker having a voiceover, and it says, "Rest in peace." Then lightning strikes the ring post. They go up in flames. Lightning strikes the stage, and these big old flames erupt, and then we hear gong, and Taker's entrance video starts playing. The music begins, and the Brothers of Destruction just come out on the stage to a huge pop
Dude,
from this English crowd, man.
enormous.
Yes, enormous pop, man. It's great. And again, they've been off TV for what, 2 weeks now only, but still, just seeing them. Again, like I said, the UK fans only get them. And the last time they saw Taker would have been, shoot.
Did they the Shield thing?
That's when he faced, yeah. So when he faced Ambrose or whatever. So yeah. So anyway, then the Brothers of Destruction stare him down. They kind of start walking toward the ring, and then we hear the and the lights come back up. The rest of the Wyatts are on the apron. The crowd's immediately going, "This is awesome," because it is. It's cool, man. It reminded me of when the Shield and the Wyatts faced off for the first time in the ring. Remember that? That was oh man, that was a big to do. So
yeah, sure.
Again, we've seen Taker and Bray, but we haven't seen the Wyatt family and the Brothers of Destruction. So this is pretty cool. Bray charges, gets punched. They wind up taking him out. I'll kind of get through this quickly, but they basically they take out everybody pretty easily. The Brothers of Destruction do, and then they wind up tossing Braun over the announce table, and then they kind of turn toward Bray, and then double goozle him and double choke slam him, and Manchester gives him a standing ovation. I mean, everyone is standing up, just cheering for the Brothers of Destruction. Though, so they do their walk up the ramp and look over their shoulder, double fist raise, and that's how the show goes off the air. Or this, that's the end of the show. So commentary is like, well, it turns out Kane and Taker's souls are alive and well. So it's like, okay. So
cool.
The last 2 weeks didn't matter at all. So. And that's my problem. We just mentioned that. I'm not going to crap on it again, but like they took him out in a crucifix position and beat him up, and then they show up 2 weeks later just completely fine. So
right, like again, this is so simple, but why not have a casket roll out with Undertaker and Kane in it, since they said, they've absorbed their powers, they're nothing, and they sit up out of the casket, like, as if you kidnapped them for the past 2 weeks,
exactly.
And you're showing off their bodies, but, they wake up and they resurrect or something like that, or... It's laziness, man. It's laziness to do them like that. Is. And also, my complaint with it is Undertaker and Kane just won the feud right here. They just beat up four guys, all of them. They didn't. Why not just have Undertaker and Kane chokeslam Eric Rowan, and like the other three guys are able to escape?
Been untouched. Yep.
Yes, at least
Bray
one
have
of
been
them
untouched the whole time.
Yes, but
they shouldn't
instead,
have got their hands on him yet.
Everybody took chokeslams and got beat up here tonight. Why do we need to have a pay-per-view match? The feud's settled here.
Yeah, it's over.
It's again. I keep saying it, man. It could have been so much more, but SmackDown on 11/12/2015. The Wyatt family.
Did you want to go back to the?
Yes, there is another thing to talk about. Yes, we had to talk about the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on November 11th, 2015, which is not. We don't talk about too many talk shows with the Undertaker, and he technically doesn't do any talking here. But this is his first appearance on the Tonight Show. He just recently had another one.
5 years later.
And Jimmy Fallon, he does this bit called the Audience Suggestion Box, and it's all a gimmick, folks. They're not real suggestions. But one of the fans,
Paul Heyman,
he gives a suggestion for the Undertaker to give a tombstone to a turkey. And Jimmy Fallon says,
"This one here is from Trevor Collum. Hey, Jimmy, you should have the Undertaker from WWE come out and tombstone a guy in a turkey outfit on your show." Well, Trevor, that sounds pretty awesome, but unfortunately it's very late notice, and I wouldn't even know how to contact the Undertaker. At this point, it's just kind of impossible.
But then the gong hits, And the Undertaker makes his way out onto the Tonight Show stage. He takes off his robe. He takes off his hat. And then suddenly we see Brad Maddox clucking on the stage in a turkey outfit.
Who?
They should have just done the gobbledygooker outfit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Again, maybe they couldn't find it or something. But Undertaker stares at him, picks him up, gives him a tombstone, folds his arms, rolls his eyes back, sticks his tongue out. And then Jimmy Fallon tries to come over and give Undertaker a handshake, and Undertaker just glares at him. And that's a real thing that happened.
Yep, I love it.
Completely random and weird, but totally awesome. So they're promoting 25 years of The Undertaker here by having him come on The Tonight Show and do that. He wasn't at the point where he's really giving interviews in character or anything like that. So you got to do something like that to get him on The Tonight Show here. But yeah, SmackDown on November 12th, 2015. We find out that Harper and Rowan are going to face the Usos later on tonight. And the Wyatt family come out for a promo. Guys. They have great chemistry with each other. Mm-hmm. Whether they're the Wyatts or the Bludgeon Brothers, whatever, they always have good matches with the Usos. And unfortunately, again, all the Wyatts are going to talk in this promo. Luke Harper says tonight the carnage will continue as they sacrifice them Uso boys to honor Bray Wyatt. Eric Rowan takes off his mask. It says a bunch of crap.
Put it back on.
Braun Strowman takes off his mask and says,
I will destroy anyone in my path. And I will pile the bodies to the sky for the Eater of Worlds.
Man, how huge does Braun Strowman look during this time?
Yeah, dude? He's enormous. Enormous.
It's funny that someone posted a picture of him on Twitter or Instagram or something with like a side-by-side of him now, and he shared it, and he said, it's crazy, it's only a 25-pound difference between that and this, and it's just he's gotten himself into shape.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got muscle now rather than just, fat. So yeah, he looks great now.
He looks like 100 pounds heavier
he does, this time. Man. It's funny how it sits on him, but he looks older then. Like his hair looks crappy, and I don't know, man. It was what it was. But Vince saw something in him, so
he did. Bray takes the mic and says, the dead man may have risen, the demon may have escaped the pits of hell, but Undertaker and Kane will never be the same again because he's taken pieces of them that they will never recover. They become a part of him.
Like their lung or something? He'd take one of their lungs out when he snuck them backstage? Possibly.
Stole a kidney out and sold it. Yeah. Woke up in an ice bath.
Right atrium out of your heart. Yeah. You gotta guess which pieces I took. It's like Saw or something. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Well, he throws down the challenge at this point for Survivor Series. The two of them against any two from his family. And at this point I'm thinking, why not just do Undertaker and Kane versus the whole Wyatt family? Because they already beat them up. Just do a 2-on-4 Survivor Series match or something. Yep. It was just kind of weird. But Bray says he'll give him until the end of the night to respond. And then I did like this line that Bray says, 25 years from now, they won't be celebrating The Undertaker. Instead, they'll be celebrating the day Bray Wyatt buried the demon and the dead man forever. So he's playing into that 25 years of The Undertaker.
Yep.
And they are really building up Braun Strowman here, as you mentioned, Travis. He is their next big thing at the moment. He is the guy that Vince is in love with. And you're definitely getting the vibe that he's going to be in the match at Survivor Series because he's the next big project. There are even rumors at this time of him facing Undertaker at WrestleMania and maybe going over Undertaker at WrestleMania. They thought so highly of him here. And he gets a big squash over Fandango here to look strong. Then in the main event, you got Usos versus Harper Rowan. Like you said, that is always a good match. But Bray Wyatt comes in and causes the disqualification. And he does the throat slash to the camera as they got this new jamoke on commentary named Rich Brennan, who did not last very long. And he says, "Oh, I wonder if this is a message to The Undertaker and Kane." And Booker T says, "Of course it is." Thank you, King Booker.
Thanks, King Booker.
Then they beat up the Usos. Bray gives one of them Sister Abigail, and he's about to give it to him a second time when the gong hits. Flames erupt from the stage, and like I said, Undertaker and Kane don't work Thursdays. We just get a voiceover from Undertaker here as he says,
Bray Wyatt, the Reaper is waiting to drag you through the fires of hell. At Survivor Series, your family will rest in peace.
Lightning strikes the ring post, Undertaker's music plays, and Bray Wyatt is left staring at the video screen as the show goes off the air, so we do officially have a match for the Survivor Series.
There you go. He answered the challenge. Throw down that punk card. He's going to pick it up, just like JBL always says. So that's going to take us to the go-home show for Raw. But in a moment of seriousness, this is November 16, 2015. So we open up the show with a moment of silence for the victims of the terrorist attack in Paris over the weekend, which was, I believe that was an ISIS thing, too, if I'm not mistaken. And there was... Yeah, it was pretty terrible. I remember a lot of stuff online, or everybody was putting the little the Eiffel Tower, like the peace sign and stuff like that. Just we stand with Paris and some of that. So it was a pretty terrible worldwide event at that point, worldwide news, and it's not the end of it. We're going to hear talking about Talking Taker on. So it kind of trickled over into America, which is kind of strange. But after that moment of silence and moment of seriousness, the first segment comes on, and we get the Latin chanting and purple lights and Druid's coming out, and it's just kind of like maybe not the best choice of things to start out with.
Exactly.
Like I thought that too, and it's just like, okay, odd pacing, like odd timing there.
Yeah, maybe save this for later in the night.
Yeah, maybe not right after the moment of silence for people who died. Like in the terrorist attack. So,
100 people who died.
Yeah, exactly. But the Druids come out to the ring, and we hear the gong and Taker's music hits, and then the Brothers of Destruction come out, and then Michael Cole tells us and welcomes us to Undertaker Week on the WWE Network. So
there we go.
In celebration of his 25th year in the company, we got some great programming on the week of the network, and I think we got there's a Legends of JBL with episode 1 and 2, which we'll talk about in a second here. There's a 25 Years of Dead Man, kind of highlighting his, just highlighting matches from there. And then I think one of them was called like his gravest matches or something. I don't know. It's like there's two things that were very similar. I think
there were 2 match compilations.
Yeah.
And then 2 of those JBL Roundtable specials with Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, and the 3 of them in JBL.
Yeah, those 3. So, one was called 25 Phenomenal Years, and then the other one was called The Undertaker's Gravest Matches, which I think was a Coliseum video thing, if I'm not mistaken. So, but was it that? Anyway, whatever. It's cool, though, that they're focusing this week on Taker in and of itself. And, in 2020, they're doing that for the whole month, with different documentary every Sunday. So, pretty cool there. But anyway... the brothers get in the ring, and they're going to address the Wyatt family. Taker says that standing before you is the true army of darkness. On the horizon, vengeance awaits the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family took our bodies and tried to claim our souls, but there is no one, no man, living or dead, that contains the power of the dark side. Kane says, when you try to steal the flames of hell, you're going to get burned. So he's got a little puns there. And he says,
at Survivor Series, we have reserved a special place for Bray Wyatt and his family in the deepest pit of hell. A place where they will suffer in the fires of eternal damnation.
Taker says that Bray's kind of evil is no match for ours, and their evil has been time-tested over and over again. So you choose whichever 2 you wish to sacrifice, because the Brothers of Destruction have already decided their destiny. They will never rest in peace. Which, again, he's added that never. He added that when he fought Bray back at WrestleMania, I remember. And I think one time with Brock, too.
Brock, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, then we get to again, and Bray. We see Bray in his rocking chair, and the rest of the family. They're on the stage here, and Bray says Taker has reigned for 25 years and instilled fear into everyone. He said 25 years is long enough. So Bray says it's time for a new army of darkness to emerge, and their privileges are now reserved for him. He's the new face of fear, and at Survivor Series, they will be remembered as the brothers he destroyed. So rather than the brothers of destruction. So I like that little twist. He's really good and smart about picking up stuff like that and twisting it around. So I'm sure that's him, not some stupid writer backstage, but because Bray's a smart guy. But he then holds his hand up, and lightning and thunder crash, and he says, as for your creatures of the night, they're now mine. And then the lights go out. And this is pretty cool what's about to happen. I really like this. And this is what we're talking about, you and me. I'm talking about, like, more of this. Let's give us more weeks of this. So the lights come back on. And when they do, the Druids all have sheep masks on now. So really, really cool. Really reminiscent of the Bray and Cena stuff back in 2014 when he had all the little kids with the mask on stuff. So I love it. And then we get the run, and then the Druids start attacking Kane and Taker. But of course they just manhandle him because they're Kane and Taker.
That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
It was a cool moment for 30 seconds.
11 seconds, yeah.
Undertaker and Kane beat up 20 of these guys like they're little kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, dang it.
Yeah, I know. But they goozle them, the Druids, and Taker does a throat slash, and they choke slam him and then taunt the Wyatt family. And the Wyatts start to walk down the ramp, but Bray stops him, and he says that, our date with Destiny is Sunday. Follow the buzzers. So, again, I like the idea there, but again, it's like we're just cramming so much weeks into one. Like, they should have got the upper hand here, and then Kane and Taker can come back for their vengeance on Sunday. I don't understand why Kane and Taker are left standing tall at the end of every single segment.
Yep. And it's going to be the same on the Go Home SmackDown on November 19th, 2015. It's more the same as we hear that Latin chanting again. The Druids come out again, but this time they already have the sheep masks on, which is a really cool visual. It is a cool moment. It's a cool idea.
I like it.
As the Wyatt family come marching into the arena, Bray says the words trembling from his lips are the words of an honest man. The demon and the dead man may have started walking upright, but there are still pieces of them that belong to him. And he has now shown the world that the followers of darkness have seen the light. The Brothers of Destruction will be given a chance at Survivor Series to redeem themselves. But how will they end up failing? Will it be at the hands of Eric Rowan, a man shunned by society, tossed aside like a piece of unwanted garbage? Just an interesting way to put him over.
I concur.
Well, will it be Luke Harper, a man whose moral code affords him the ability to inflict pain and moral suffering without the slightest bit of remorse? Will it be the black sheep himself, Braun Strowman? And again, they're building Braun up really strong here as Bray gives him a chance to talk. And Braun says he's dreamt of making great men fall. Kane and Taker are monuments of a bygone era. He will shatter their bones to dust and feel their bodies crumble in his embrace. And he will bring the apocalypse for Bray Wyatt. So if you're a betting man, you're thinking, okay, it's going to be Bray and Braun. Like, he's the only other guy that got promo time here tonight. That's the obvious thing. It's definitely not going to be Eric Rowan, a piece of unwanted garbage. He's not going to be the partner.
I knew it was going to be Luke Harper the whole time, man. I wasn't sold on this Braun thing at all. No, I did, in no way did I think. I thought that's how they were presenting on TV. You're right, but I knew they're not going to put this dummy in there with these two legends at Survivor Series. But you're right; they are playing it up on TV.
Yeah,
Dude, they want to give these guys a good match. They're going to put somebody who can go, like a former Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Luke Harper, in there.
Well, Bray outstretches his arms, and then we hear the gong, the lights go out, and we see Undertaker on the video screen. He's not working Thursday nights, man. This is pre-taped. He says,
"You think you hold all the cards, but you'll soon find out you've got nothing but a dead man's hand. At Survivor Series, perilous times, they will come. And we, the Brothers of Destruction, will reclaim what is ours.
And Kane holds up a sheep's mask that is on fire. And it says, ashes to ashes, they all fall down. And Undertaker says they all rest in peace. Kane erupts his pyro from the ring post. As we see, they have all fallen down. All of the druids and the sheep masks are lying dead on the ground. And then Bray sits down and starts laughing as the crowd chants, rest in peace. Pretty basic go-home show stuff here. But again, that Brothers of Destruction looks strong at the end. They get the upper hand on Bray Wyatt, as they have pretty much this entire run.
Yeah, and I just wrote here in my notes, like, because we're about to hit Survivor Series, like, I just wanted more. I wanted more of Taker trying to win the Druids back, or maybe Wyatt controlling Kane for a little bit. Taker maybe controlling one of the Wyatt family members, even, like, getting Harper on his side, or even swaying Bray, Braun, the black sheep away from, just there was so much more. And even if Taker's going to work a limited schedule, Bray can carry this stuff. We've already seen that he can do it.
Yeah. And
they've got 4 guys they can do stuff with Kane, because Kane was still pretty full time at this point. So, it's just, I don't know, man. There's just so much. I wanted much more because I like these guys. I like Bray. I like Taker and Kane. It's just, I just wanted more, man.
I'm with you 100%. Could bring back some of the old Ministry of Darkness and have Bray put them under his command or something
JBL
like that.
wasn't above it. He did that.
Sure. Ron Simmons, whatever, man. Edge, Christian, who cares? Well, if you do want more, you can get more of The Undertaker 25 on the WWE Network. You could back then. You can go back and revisit it. As you mentioned, Travis, all of these WWE Network specials on The Undertaker, you can still find them on the network. And it was really cool for them to do this stuff, celebrate The Undertaker in this way. If you've never watched those Legends with JBL specials, they are worth going to check out. I think they're only maybe like 30, 40 minutes or so, but I mean, it's JBL, Triple H, Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels shooting the crap, which I would watch them talk about, fast food restaurants.
Backgammon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I would watch them talk
Seriously.
about backgammon. But they're talking about our boy. They're talking about The Undertaker. And I rewatched one of them going into this. I didn't have time to watch both of them, but I rewatched one of them, and some of it's stories you've heard before, but again, it's these guys talking and telling these stories. And I just thought, who else do they do this for that's living and is active?
Right.
Nobody.
They don't.
They do the. You hear guys tell stories like this about Andre the Giant, or maybe about a Ric Flair or something like that. Maybe sometimes, but who else do they devote a week's worth
Who's in his 70s
of content? Right. They don't do this for anybody. And they're doing it again here in 2020. Like, that's how much of an icon The Undertaker is.
They don't do this for Hulk Hogan.
Nope.
Who is arguably, or Stone Cold. They
Rock,
do more of it for Stone
John
Cold.
Cena.
Yeah. Okay, The Rock is the most successful movie star in Hollywood right now, like the biggest. Like, he's not even in the WWE Hall of Fame yet. We know he's going. They're just waiting for this in Miami or something. But anyway, like he is. They could have so much to milk for like doing stuff like this for The Rock, But like, they don't do it for him, man. They do it for this guy who's, again, he's just like I think they talk about in this roundtable thing. He's there. He never went anywhere. Stuff we've harped on so many times on here, but hearing these guys, we're just 2 guys at home talking about this. Hearing these guys that been in the ring with him, been in the locker room with him, seen him. I remember they talked about him taking a nap in a casket because he didn't want people to see him like get tired. So like he actually slept in a casket one time backstage, is hidden because but that's just who he was. Like he didn't want them. He just has this aura about him, even as Mark, and they're just so cool seeing them talk. But you're right, man. Like nobody else gets this, and the more every week that goes by that we do this, the more I just revere this guy, man, and the more special March was to me that we got to meet him. Like it just, it's insane, man. He's a freaking legend, dude.
Absolutely. Any other things you wanted to say about that?
But that week, no, just go check them out, man. I just, it really has some cool stories. And these guys, I remember I was reading a recap of it, and at one point, I remember Austin talks about after WrestleMania when he lost his streak, he talked about like shortly after that he was checking on him and said, it's one of those if you want to get on the podcast. And like the rest of the guys on the round table are just riffing on Austin for trying to plug his own podcast on the WWE network, which is great. So,
well, he said he asked him before the match, and then he got concussed, and Austin's like, I'm still waiting. I guess maybe he'll come on here eventually.
And they're just like, you're trying to show your own podcast. So it's great. So but again, Stone Cold Steve Austin's probably the biggest, money drawing superstar there was ever, and he just has so much reverence for this guy, and that to me, just seeing those guys just have so much reverence for him. I don't ever want to hear anyone say anything bad about this guy, dude. Like he's like I don't know, he's great, man. It's awesome. But yeah, can't wait for the rest of the stuff for the 30th year that we got on the network. We'll talk about that later on in a couple episodes from now. So.
We will, but let's get to this 25th anniversary celebration on to the day, November 22nd, 2015. Very cool that they had it work out for that and for the 30th year anniversary. It all works out. And this one is from our backyard again, Atlanta, Georgia, at the Phillips Arena. And I was actually living in Atlanta, about 30 minutes from the arena at this time. And as is kind of tradition on this show, if the show's in Atlanta, we didn't go to it for some reason. You weren't living in Georgia anymore.
No.
And as I mentioned last week on the show, not only is this the Undertaker's anniversary, it's my wedding anniversary. So also, and this happened to be my first year anniversary. And although my wife is awesome and she tolerates and even enjoys wrestling sometimes, I figured it was not in my best interest to try to talk her into going this Survivor Series show, even though I was very jealous that I was missing the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker. I thought that would be really, really cool to be in attendance for. But, it kind of worked out for the best as well because, as we have also alluded to on this day, this show was the alleged focus of a potential terrorist attack from ISIS. There were news reports on the weekend of this show that there were going to be even more attacks similar to the Paris attack from the weekend before. If you don't recall, ISIS attacked a soccer stadium in Paris, and they also attacked a concert, the Eagles of Death Metal, which is some of the guys from Queens of the Stone Age are in that band, and people died at that concert. Bomb went off. People died. I think I saw 150 people died throughout multiple attacks, which is I forgot it was that many.
Yeah, me too.
But there were documents that were released and that were found that said they were going to attack other big gatherings at that time, and it's crazy that it wasn't an NFL game or an NBA game. For some reason they were targeting Survivor Series, so this was on like the national news and stuff.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I'm not trying to make fun, but like, is there like a dirt sheet? Like, how do they release like that they're gonna get like I don't know, like there's like a list somewhere, like
it was
ISIS
like
said, here you go, here's our
it was on like Anonymous or WikiLeaks.
Okay.
So some of those little things released some of that stuff. I get all that stuff confused, but it was something like that where it came out. But it wasn't Meltzer going through the.
No, and I mean like this ISIS have like an ISIS dirt sheet, like they releases all this stuff, like just to the public, just say, hey, just tell somebody and that this happened. But I don't know, but yeah. It's too bad you couldn't go on your first wedding anniversary, but it's probably best for your marriage that you didn't go, and probably best for your health that you didn't go because you could have been attacked. So,
well, thankfully nothing happened, although they amped up the security measures at the arena that night, and thankfully, whether it was false reporting or whether, the authorities actually stepped in and prevented something. I don't know, but thankfully nothing like that happened, and the show was able to go off without a hitch. But it was scary. You know, there were thoughts of postponing it or canceling it, but Vince McMahon, he stood his ground and he's on with the show. Let's have Lillian Garcia go sing the national anthem and go get it on.
Yep. It was a pretty cool opening there, the national anthem. So pretty neat. But immediately after, immediately after she sings that, we get an opening video just focused on Taker's 25 years, and we get the voiceover guy that's talking about once in a generation there comes a phenom, an individual not measured by the seconds, minutes, days, weeks, or even years, but by the legacy he's built. A presence who has risen above all challenges and won head first into the unknown. And then we hear a brave voiceover of all the stuff he's been talking about over the last few weeks. Then we get clips of Kane and Taker as a Brothers of Destruction. And it's really cool how it just opened, the show's opening, and it's about Taker. This is his night. Doesn't matter about the World Championship match or the Survivor Series match. This night is all about Taker. Sorry. So
you're exactly right. This night is all about Undertaker. So tell me, why in the heck is this not the main event of the night? Dude, I don't care.
What happens.
I don't care. Yeah, that's exactly why this should have been the main event, because that stupid Money in the Bank cash-in with Sheamus is a terrible moment that leaves the fans upset. You're building this entire show over 25 years of Deadman. The poster's dedicated to him. The whole build is dedicated to him. It's a feel-good moment in the main event, or in this match. Why is it not the main event, man?
I don't know. I guess just to put
it got me hot.
So, I don't know. Yeah. Because, again, the story going into this night, again, wow, that's weird. Survivor Series is a tournament for the world title, just like it was in 98. But, yeah, because, again, Seth being out injured, you got to have a tournament to figure out who's going to win. And so they gave Roman his first win this night. But, yeah, the stupid cash-in with Sheamus after that. And, yeah, they might as well put this match on last and send the fans home happy like Vince likes to do. So.
Ugh, it got me so hot.
Yeah, I guess there would have been a lot of confetti in the ring for Taker. So if they hadn't have done that.
Use a broom. Sweep it up.
Boo Dallas out
Come
there
on.
and sweep it up. Yeah.
Well, we do get a video package as this match goes on second from the top, third from the top if you count the Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah.
And again, they're not really digging up too deep into the past. They're just going off this past month of build. They're ignoring all the WrestleMania stuff here. You got Cole
Thanks,
King.
Michael Bay.
Just like
Sorry,
Transformers.
still hot about it. Yeah.
Cole King and JBL, who's the standard commentary crew at this time. The Wyatt family make their entrance to the ring, and it's fine and all, but the crowd is immediately chanting for Undertaker. As the lights come up, the announcers are speculating which two of the Wyatt family are actually going to face the Brothers of Destruction tonight.
Yeah, which is a nice touch. Again, there's a little bit of a mystery around it, And then, like you said, the crowd's chanting for Taker, and then Kane's music hits, and he makes his way out by himself. And at this point, I had forgotten. I watched this that night on the network, like live, but I haven't seen this back in 5 years. So I'm rewatching it here the other night, and I was like, man, I really wish we got that mashup, entrance like we used to get with Kane's music going and Taker's and them coming out and forgetting.
Keep rolling. What?
That would have been fun too. Yeah. What if he came out as that this night? I mean, nuts. But anyway,
move in, no move out.
What if we got Fred Durst appearance?
Oh, sure, man.
Pops out of an egg. So 25 years later.
Gobbledygooker.
The Eggman. So, but I'm glad we didn't get that mashup entrance, because what we get is so much better, because Kane's going to come out, stop at the bottom of the ramp, and just kind of stare at Wyatt as the family has left the ring. They're on the outside just pacing around, and Taker makes his way to minute, and then the gong hits, and Atlanta is just popping huge for the dead man. But his music hasn't hit yet. We just hear gong, gong, gong a couple times over, and it's all quiet there. And then Kane's going to turn it up to 11 here for us.
Kane raises his arms and his pyro erupts. And we also see two of the Undertaker symbols, the XT as we call it here on the show. They burst into flames, hanging up at the top of the stage. We see some more of the Undertaker's torches. You called them the Olympic torches in your notes. Sure, we'll go with that. They light up here. And then you called it a giant crate. It is like a giant box hanging from the ceiling. I think it's supposed to be a casket, but it's not it's real casket shape. It's a rectangle. Yeah, it's not the actual casket shape. I don't know what happened. They're usually so great with these production touches, but for some reason this didn't quite look right. But it's hanging above the stage, and as the Undertaker finally comes out, we see images projected from the inside of that casket. There's like a video screen inside this casket, this big pine box, if you will, and it's just images rotating of all of Undertaker's different looks throughout his career, which is such a cool touch and a cool way to celebrate his 25th anniversary here. We've said it on the show, and other people have described him as such. He really is a Madonna of sorts. You know, he is somebody who does change his look probably more often than you even realize it. You know, you folks out here listening, you just think of him as, you know, gray gloves, purple gloves, biker taker, deadpan. But you know, we've talked about how he changes those designs on his tights, even when it's just, you know, the all black. He's got something different colors, or he might have an urn, or he might have a cross. He's always doing different stuff on there.
Yeah.
Anytime he comes back from a return, he's got something. He's tweaked something a little bit on there. He does pay attention to that stuff. Eyebrow ring, goatee, beard, mohawk, wig. You know, he does. He does change it up.
He does, man. It's like, this is like basically this casket is the equivalent of one of those picture frames that was real big in the early 2000s with digital camera. You know, you get your grandma and you put a picture of your family on it and they just rotate through. But it's basically a big one of those. But man,
maybe Kane got him that for his anniversary.
Maybe he did. So I love this entrance. There's lasers everywhere. Like it's just smoke, flames roaring through, and then just those, like I said, those pictures of him, images, just cycling through, and to me, it was unbelievable, man. Like, he deserves this. Like I said, this whole night, if that had been the last thing, like, there's another match after this. Like, why? I don't understand.
Exactly.
This is a great way to, you know, like, kind of start to close the pay-per-view with this. So, but I don't know. But JBL says it's an honor to be here for this. So again, he is all aboard that train. So
yeah, I really enjoyed commentary. King says this is 25 years of seeing the Undertaker step into the ring, and it still sends chills up and down his spine. And JBL says it's like seeing Babe Ruth walking into Yankee Stadium or Wyatt Earp walking into Tombstone. So they are both huge fans of Taker and putting over just his entrance. You know, just the fact that the spectacle of that, and the fact that they get to see him in the ring. But one guy who has absolutely no respect for it is Eric Rowan, who is going to run into the ring, interrupt all of this, and he's going to get what he deserves.
Oh, yeah, he does. He gets exactly what he deserves every single time. He just going to get basically bamboozled by these Brothers of Destruction. So Taker boots him, and then they double goozle him and just tandem choke slam him just right there, and then he's out. And honestly, he disappears. He goes to the back, according to commentary. So Bray is holding Braun back, and he removes his hat and his jacket and starts pacing. And he kind of gets in his face and kind of like looks at him, and he gets into Harper's face, and he nods at Harper. So he's chosen Harper as his chosen one. He tells Braun to stay. So stay right there. So he wasn't even going to choose Eric Rowan, I guess. So
no, not a chance. And I guess it's like you said. I guess they decided Luke Harper was going to put on a little bit of a better match here tonight than Braun Strowman would here, as he's still very much a rookie, very green. Didn't quite trust him being in there with Undertaker and Kane.
I think he literally had like 8 matches. Like, total. I'm not kidding. Like, I think he had like 4 in NXT or something, and like maybe 4 or 5 on main roster. Like, he hadn't had. Which again, Nathan Jones.
No, you got to start somewhere, you know.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, Luke Harper, he does get into the ring, and he's going to start things off with Kane, as this is, commentary doesn't say it, but pretty sure this is the Brothers of Destruction first time tagging on pay-per-view since 2001. You know, they'd have random team-ups on TV, different times throughout the years, but there are very, very few matches on pay-per-view.
Yeah, because they were at that tables match at like No Way Out that year, and then against the
all through
the
the
Jersey
invasion.
the Jersey Duad,
Chronic,
Chronic, yeah.
And I think that was it up until now. As far as pay-per-view.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's crazy. But yeah, so like you said, Harper and Kane go at it. He's punched him in the corner. Clotheslines from Kane. He hits that great side slam that only Kane can do. Gets a quick 2 count. And then Kane hits a low drop kick. Just like, boom. He's pulling all the stops out here. But then it was kind of funny here because Taker immediately tags in and comes out. I didn't expect him to tag in so quickly. But he tags in and goes to the corner to punch in Luke. And then, again, check your bingo card because he gets that ref intimidation immediately right here at the beginning. I love it. So, and this is the part where commentary's like, "Oh, guys, let's let you know Eric Rowan has left the ringside area." So he just disappears.
He's gone. He's gonna go watch this from the monitor.
Yeah.
Like you said, Undertaker intimidates future AEW superstar Mike Chioda here, and then the Atlanta crowd is alive for this match, dude. Atlanta, not always the hottest wrestling crowd. We have our moments, but we're not like a classic hot wrestling crowd. But we were here for it tonight here, as Undertaker, he's hitting the hits, man. He's coming out here. He's on the Greatest Hits tour. Beats up Harper in the corner, wrenches the arm, as Michael Cole notes that Undertaker was originally 8-0 at Survivor Series. You don't hear about that streak too much, but kind of here to see that. Taker goes up for Old School, but Harper is going to take him down. He tags in Bray Wyatt, but then Undertaker hits a running clothesline on Bray. Bray kicks out at 1. Bray tags back out to Harper, and then Undertaker, he's going to hit Old School. And he's going to, and no matter what, if he misses it, he's going to go back to it, and he does here.
Yep, he nails it. And then Michael Cole here tells us that Taker's had more Survivor Series wins than anyone else in history, which I think we touched on that before. He also mentioned that, JBL talks about how Coco Beware was the first one ever to be Tombstone and Survivor Series. And
was he ever?
What a yucky one. It's almost his last one. But then, the next year again, Taker defeated Hogan. And then Cole mentions how that was the first ever singles match, which I remember us talking about that on that episode, whatever that was, 3? Episode 3, 4?
It was episode 3.
3 would have been some
craziness.
Yeah, it's nuts. But 167 episodes ago, weeks ago. But that's crazy. But Taker's gonna hit that apron offense and hits the apron leg drop, and again, you got Atlanta going, "You still got it, you still got it." Which again, he never lost it, but he
looks good here tonight.
He does. He really does. Yeah,
he looks like he's feeling it. He looks like he's in good shape. As Kane tags in. Luke Harper clotheslines him out of the ring. Kane lands on his feet. He gives a big boot to Braun Strowman, who's there on the outside. But Bray Wyatt attacks Kane, allows them to triple team Kane, and Strowman tosses Kane over the announce table, and Undertaker stalks over. Braun laughs in Undertaker's face. Bray attacks Kane some more on the outside and tosses Kane back into the ring and gets in the ring with him somehow. Somehow Bray Wyatt became the legal man throughout all of that.
Yeah, I had issues right here because one funny thing is that Mike Chioda is he's basically trying to cause a distract or pretend like he's distracted here, trying to get Taker back in his corner. But it's funny because, like you said, they'd rolled Kane back in the ring, and Harper's going, "Sir, sir, sir," at Mike Chioda.
So polite.
Yeah, he is polite, man. But yeah, there's no legal tag. Suddenly, Bray's I just hate when they drop the rules in the middle of the match. But because then Braun basically he rolls in there, he taunts, and he tags Harper back in, but he never was really, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
flubby
Harper
dub.
Harper starts punching on Kane, and commentary get their headsets back on, and Bray tags in again. So they're just in and out, quick tags, punching on Kane, chopping him in the corner. Kane's battling back. Bray hits that running body splash where he just dives at people, and he goes for the Sister Abigail, but he's facing Taker. Taker's on the apron, and he does the throat slash to mock him, but then Kane battles out and hits a running DDT, and both men are down on their backs in the middle of the ring.
Well, it's time for the tag team specialist to shine.
Yes, sir.
Undertaker gets the hot tag. He starts unloading on Luke Harper, goes for Snake Eyes, and then changes his mind, and it's a DDT.
Well, I think, and we'll see this later, I think that I don't think Luke sandbagged him, but I think he was a heavier fellow than Taker thought he was, because we'll see that at the end of the match. Because I went back and rewound it a couple times, and I was like, he goes for Snake Eyes, but I think Luke has too much momentum, and he kind of just rolls over almost, and Taker can't balance him up there. And so he just, but again, Taker being freaking pro he is, he just immediately improvises and nails that DDT, which again wasn't out of his repertoire. It's something he used.
Yep.
And then hits a leg drop and covers him for 2. But yeah, we'll see that. That's just go back and watch that, guys, because I think that's what happened. Again, we'll see it here in a minute. And somebody on Twitter, I think, commented about what we're going to talk about at the end here.
That makes sense here. As Undertaker signals for the choke slam, Bray comes in to try and stop him, but Undertaker goozles him as well. And then Braun Strowman causes a distraction. Wyatt and Harper send Undertaker to the outside, but Undertaker, he is not going down. He goozles Braun. Kane joins him, and they double choke slam Braun Strowman through the announce table.
Yeah.
And it's 2015, so the crowd starts doing some yes chants for that.
Oh, yeah. It was great, man. Again, you hadn't really, I mean, I guess they did that, threw him to the outside earlier, but like seeing him go through the table was a big deal. You know, Braun was a big guy there. He was kind of their secret weapon. But Harper then hits a super kick, and Bray nails his Sister Abigail to Taker behind the ref's back. So he sneaks in. Again, suddenly we care about the rules again. He sneaks in, hits Sister Abigail on Taker, but Kyoto's not looking. Then he turns around, and Luke Harper covers him, but Kane comes in to make the save on his big brother, and he knocks Bray down, but then Harper hits him with a discus clothesline, which, again, we've established that's his finisher.
Kane and Taker are both down at this point, and Bray Wyatt starts doing that backwards spider walk, and Luke Harper starts crawling towards Kane and Taker, and they do the double sit-up. Crowd loves it. Mm-hmm. They get up, they hit stereo choke slams on Wyatt and Harper, and then Kane's going to step out of the ring and leave the spotlight to Undertaker here on his 25th anniversary as he finishes things off.
Yeah, Taker does a throat slash, gets Harper up, and he holds him in a tombstone position for a little bit, and you can kind of see him struggling. It's kind of subtle, but you can kind of hear him too if you go back and watch it. I think it was on one of those was it Botchamanias where he's kind of telling Luke, like, give me something, like, help me out, because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if Harper's just thicker than or heavier than he thought he was going to be, or what, or maybe Taker just didn't have the arm strength at this time. I don't know, because he's been battling Brock for the last part of the year, and getting thrown around, basically not picking anybody up. So I don't know, but he kind of struggles here a bit, and then he does wind up dropping Harper down for a tombstone, get the classic cover, and Taker gets the pinfall like he should here at 10 minutes and 18 seconds. So not a very long match.
Not a very long match, not particularly memorable. I wrote it as a feel-good house show match.
Sure.
It's a TV main event, Coliseum video kind of match, which is the Undertaker's 25th anniversary, man. It's a celebration. It's a greatest hits tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's not that memorable, but it doesn't have to be. You're going to leave the fans home happy here. We're celebrating this incredible legacy here. And Kane and Taker take a few moments as they take all the adulation of the crowd in, and Undertaker hits the Shakespeare pose, and we call it the Shakespeare pose, but I thought he actually kind of looked like Shakespeare here with his hair, Travis. It's starting to... have a very Shakespeare look to that haircut.
That's true. Very true. He's moved on from Fraser Taker to, I don't know,
Shakespeare-esque.
Yeah. Takespeare. There you go. I knew I'd get it eventually.
Yeah.
But well, again, like you said, they're getting a standing ovation from the crowd here, and it's a really cool sign in the crowd because it says, "You don't have it, you are it." It's got a picture of him doing a throat slash. It's a really, really cool sign. I'll put that on our social media, but pretty cool, man. I really dug that. So JBL says that, it's phenomenal that one man can compete for 25 years and still be going strong, which is true. Again, look at the list of names we mentioned earlier. Austin, he talks about on that JBL roundtable thing that, like, they always joked about who's going to last longer. And, like, at this point, Austin's been retired for, 12 years?
Right.
Like, it's crazy, Like, Taker beat him by a long shot. So
JBL also says, as Undertaker and Kane are walking to the back, JBL says, "This is a sight we may never see again." And I just put, if you only knew JBL, if you only knew what we were in for with the Brothers of Destruction. But for this moment in time, it's a happy ending. They do the look back to the crowd and the double fist raise. Mm-hmm. And, again, they're kind of doing what they do with every Undertaker match at this point. They're speculating if this might be the last time that we see him. I didn't buy that for a second at this point because I knew WrestleMania 32 is coming up. It's going to be the biggest crowd in WWE history. Yeah. They're trying to get over 100,000 people into the new Cowboy Stadium. I knew Undertaker has to be there for that. He's built that. He's going to be one of the selling points for it. There's no way they're not going to use Undertaker in some form or fashion. I mean, and he's from Texas, too. So.
Right. I know a lot of people were speculating, well, maybe he'll go in the Hall of Fame that year because it's in Texas and have his last match some, but he didn't even do that. But, he's definitely not going to miss WrestleMania in Texas. So, but, yeah, I this was a feel-good moment, for the longtime fans. I remember in the moment there in 2015 wanting to see, because, again, thinking about the story, Taker doesn't need a win. I want to see the Wyatts get their win here and get again. But, like, this night, this made sense. Give Taker a big win on his 25th anniversary, So I get it. It's fine. But I would recommend the match for the spectacle of the entrance and the moments, like the sit-up and everything. Those are pretty cool. But, again, as far as if you want to see a 5-star classic, it's not that. Go watch something else. But it's really neat for the spectacle and the pomp and circumstance that they give to a man who deserves every bit of it,
I'm with you on that, especially for the entrance. Go watch the JBL Roundtable specials, Legends with JBL specials as well. If you've never seen those are even better than the match here. And yeah, just again with the Wyatt family, it's disappointing. It could have been so much more, but it was certainly the right ending on this night. So we would love to hear more of your thoughts. Hit us up at Talking Taker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go subscribe, go leave a rating, and go share the show with your friends and fellow Undertaker fans as we keep rolling on to the last ride. We are not that far away from it at this point, but next week, well, I'll talk about next week in just a minute because we're going to take a little detour here for the 30 days of the dead man, 30 years of the dead man. But first, let's do some of your comments on this match. At Red Dragon 2008 said, remember the build being pretty fun, which indeed it was. The match itself, maybe not so much. The downturn reminded us of what you just talked about, Travis. Said, remember Taker asking Luke Harper for help as he was sandbagging for the tombstone?
He's probably never taken that move, honestly. I'm sure he has on the Indies, but not from Taker,
You're probably right.
Rolls
At Sheep FM, Richard Query, we've heard from him a little bit, said, interest was great, the match was not so much. Another missed opportunity for the Wyatts. We agree with you on
Story
that.
of their life.
The Wrestling Connection podcast at WrestleConnect1 said, been loving the episodes recently, guys. So we do appreciate that. Let's see. Watch Along Wrestling nearly went to the show. Said he was at Atlanta on a layover coming back from Colorado and had the intentions of attending the Survivor Series, but because of those ISIS threats, ended up getting on the first flight they could back home and skipping the show. But loved all the build up to it, the network specials, and really felt like he was a regular member of the roster here in 2015. Had 4 matches in 2015. And Randy Turco, happy birthday to Randy on the day that we're recording this, but a couple days late on the listening to it. Says, felt like the first time they really celebrated Taker's tenure. He had a Decade of Destruction shirt at 10 years, but not much else. But loved that he had this pay-per-view dedicated to him. He had 25-year merch and a 25-year encyclopedia, which he shares a picture of, which looks amazing. Wish I had picked that up back in the day. It looks so cool. And then happy birthday as well to St. Ridley Santos. His birthday was Monday of this week. Our special guest on the Triple H Shawn Michaels feud episode. Had that special episode with him. Member of the Talking Taker family.
To both you guys. Yeah.
Thank you for the Latin there, Travis. That's good.
Yeah, pig Latin.
And then, like I said, two members of the Talking Taker family, Mike and JV from the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, are going to join us next week for a very special watch-along episode. And we're going to actually watch along a classic episode of some Attitude Era Raw from 1999 with The Undertaker and Stone Cold in the main event of that episode of Raw. We're going to do the whole episode of Raw. So we've done a few Royal Rumble matches. We're going to do a classic episode of Raw here. Just something a little bit different. Like we said, something unique to celebrate the dead man. It's an important match in his history. Even though he lost it, it's literally an important match in pro wrestling history. And we'll talk all about that next week. And get to do something different.
I have every intention of going in that night cold, not watching anything. Yeah, I don't want to read anything. I mean, I remember that match, but because we've covered it here. But as far as like being surprised at the other crap on the show and crazy stuff and Attitude Era, zaniness, GTV, whatever we're going to get, I'm excited for the thrills and the ride's going to take us on. So
there will certainly be some Vince Russo bromance of the week on that episode. And then a few other things to discuss real quick. As we mentioned last week, WWE is putting out a lot of 30 Years of Dead Man merch. I got my reproduction foam urn over the weekend. I ordered it on Monday or Tuesday, and it got here on Saturday, so that was nice. I've already got it put up on the wall here in the Talking Taker studio. I love it. Do more of this, WWE shop. I like that they put something on there that marks that this is a reproduction. It's got a little 30 on there, but otherwise it looks exactly like the original. And I'm cool with that. Reproduce all the old merch and just put a little something on there so that okay, it's not an original. So like if you can't scam people on eBay or something like that. If you want to go find the original, which I would love. I'd love to get an original one of those foam urns. It's still on my wish list, but this is great for I think it was $7 plus shipping. Like, come on, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Highly recommend it to you Taker fans. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I'm drinking from my mug that you got me last week, Travis. I got my hat on.
Oh, Mean Mark Callis mug. Mean Mark mug. That's right.
And then we've got our merch available at Talking Taker. tpublic.com. You can get any Talking Taker merch, including, we joked about it, but I went ahead and drew up something quick and threw it up there for the Good For You shirt, the GFY shirt, as we discussed last week on the show. And we've actually had a listener pick it up already. So if that was you out there, let us know.
If that was you, good for you.
Good for you. We're giving you the good for you right now.
Yeah.
Thumbs
awesome,
up.
Man. What a great
it's shirt. A great shirt. I love it.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And then last but not least, Travis, did you have a chance to check out the Mortician documentary about the life of Paul Bearer that they just put out this week as part of the 30 Days of the Dead Man?
Oh, I watched Morticia. I thought it was like about the Addams Family.
Oh, no.
Dang, that was on Netflix. Dang it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I did watch the Mortician. It was awesome. I'm trying to think of something besides like a synonym for awesome or phenomenal. I keep using those words, but like it was really, really good. Some of the same stories we've heard as far regarding Taker, but you and I talked before we recorded. Like the cool part to me was seeing him as Percy Pringle, like a Ric Flair, like his just straight bleach blonde hair, man. Like just all his little nuances he did. To seeing that old footage, of Taker as Texas Red, the Brody match he had on there, and then seeing the goofiness, the zaniness, the bloopers from the backstage. That stuff was really cool to see. Really, really neat. Again, we kind of knew the story, but seeing it and seeing all that archive footage was really, really good. I highly recommend it. It was really probably the best documentary report they've done of the 30th Dead Man so far. I'm looking forward to Brothers of Destruction this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all of this stuff in depth in 2 weeks on the show. We're going to do a rundown of all of these 30 Days of the Dead Man specials on the network. So be sure to watch those when you get a chance in the next few weeks. This one was kind of more, it was more like a old school WWE DVD documentary. Obviously, Paul Bearer's been dead for 7 years, so they're not going to do... They're using all archive interviews, more old school interviews and stuff, but they do bring in some cool retro footage in there. Mm-hmm. And it's, if you're a fan of the show, you're going to love it. And I just love that he's getting that appreciation that he truly deserves.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He deserves it. And he was just, I mean, we can't overstate how vital he was to the success early on in the Undertaker's career. And then again, just the Kane storyline, just it had three pieces, and it was Kane, Taker, and Paul Bearer making it happen. So, and hearing all the stuff from Mick Foley too was neat, because he was so close to talking about. Well, I'll leave that comment for that and go over it. But yeah, just Foley has some good insight in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, well, is that wrapping us up here?
I think I'm good. You got anything else?
Well, if you were there, I always say that. We'd love to hear from you. Well, wait a second. We actually have a friend of ours we've talked about on this show who was actually there in the Phillips Arena at Atlanta on November 22nd. Let's go to let's see. We sent him a text this week. This is Caleb. I call him Farver because he looks like Farver from Super Troopers. But let's see.
If you'll recall, we talked about him on a few episodes, but especially on our WrestleMania 27 episode. He went to the Hall of Fame with us, but ended up having his father had a medical emergency and he had to go home to be with his dad before WrestleMania took place. But he was the infamous one who did not put on his T-shirt to go to WrestleMania because he thought our other buddy Josh could not have possibly been wearing a green Magellan fishing shirt to WrestleMania. So
we also watched WrestleMania 24 at his house. We talked about him on that episode too. But yeah, so this is, we reached out to him and said, we're covering this. Anything you want to tell us about? And he says, I have some. He said, I can't remember what happened, but I think ISIS threatened the event, and it was how we got tickets for $15 a ticket. So they got tickets for $15. He and two of his buddies went that he graduated high school with. So
they heard about ISIS and they were like, let's go.
Let's go.
We're going to take him down.
Exactly. They had the Toby Keith mentality. Like, we'll put a boot in your... And then that's the American way, I guess. That's their thing. But didn't hear much else from him about that. And I was like, well, do you have... Like, this is Talking Taker, so we wanted... Like, do you have anything... any memories of the show? It was Taker's 25-year anniversary. They beat the Wyatt family. I was trying to give him some things about, jog his memory. Roman Reigns won the WWE title for the first time ever. Sheamus cashed in to steal it. And his response was, the Dudley Boys wrestled. So,
they did.
That's it. Our buddy, close friend, who went to the show, gave us that the Dudley Boys wrestled. But when did they wrestle, Alex, on this night?
What
match was it?
It was on the pre-show with Cosmic Wasteland against Neville and and Titus O'Neil and Darren Young and some other J-Bros.
You know what? Caleb's response to our reaching out to him was a cosmic wasteland of information. That was terrible. Thanks a lot, dude. We really could have used a little more insight than that. But in all seriousness, we just want to bury him a little bit because he gave us nothing. But if you were there on this night, if you chose to go because ISIS may show up, you're going to do a run-in. You didn't know. Like, that's what Caleb went. If you chose to go because you got cheap seats, cheap tickets, let us know. It was a great night. What are your memories on this night? 25 years to Dead Man to the day. Again, it's awesome how that worked out. And again, there will be this year too. So thank goodness for leap years, right? To keep it every 5 years. It keeps carrying over.
That's right.
Another one. So
perfect.
Anyway, but if you were there, let us know. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there. Good for you. And as always, take her easy.
It's me, Boo Dallas. Get it?
Yes, I get it.
And you weren't scared at all?
Nope.
Oh, come on, Renee. Halloween is no fun if you don't get to scare people. But I'm not one for giving up. Tonight, on SmackDown Halloween, somebody is getting scared. All you have to do is boo, leave. Boo, leave?